Act 2, Scene 4. Alright. Let's talk to Shannon. I heard the man and the lady talking when they first came in, but they didn't see me. Flora. What were we doing up that late? What were we talking about? What were they talking about? The man said his leg was hurting him. They were looking for Dr. Truman, but he was already gone, but they didn't know, so they kept looking around. This is great. Homer, tell me the answers. Oh yeah, he was talking to his dog. Guy was a weirdo. What did he say? Just small talk, you know, like you talk to your buddies or something, like you talk to a dock worker, just like, damn, this is a lot of rain. I haven't seen rain like this since that storm a couple years back that took out Lassett's herb garden. I just feel bad for that old dog getting dragged all over by a couple of drunks. Old dog like that should be sleeping on a porch somewhere, but that's loyalty for you. So wait, are we drunk? Well, they didn't stay long anyway. I just assumed they were from the power company, you know? How they're always coming by unannounced and messing with this or that. I just shut myself up in my room to wait it out. No sense getting involved. How did they get in? Must have been one of the kids who left the front door unlocked. Something got to be done. Yeah. Must have been one of the kids who left the front door unlocked. Something got to be done. They run around like animals. You know that. Flora left a can of soda on the top of my shelter door, and I almost... What are we lolling about? Oh, yeah, exactly. They run around like animals. That's exactly why we need the new doorknob. They run around like animals. You know that. Flora left a can of soda on top of my shelter door, and I almost killed myself slipping on that sticky mess the next morning. That's lovely. Something's got to be done. I guess we're just here to look around and find out that somebody's listening to us. And I'm drunk. No, we just have an umbrella. Not really supposed to open, somebody's just camping here. They were hollering at the empty tent you folks have on display. Ha! Hey, if you ever need anyone to stay in there, I've been in worse positions. I don't think that's necessary. I guess they must have gone through some papers here. It was in some disarray and a few folders were pulled out and left on the table. I mean, it wasn't too bad. I only noticed because Diane is such a stickler. She's a real organized. I mean, what folders were they looking at? Yeah, mostly stuff about the building site. I guess they had a list of all the homes we relocated here. A list of original residents before we leveled the neighborhood. I guess they were looking for one of the old residents. There's a buy button under there? Oh, yes. You can buy Kentucky Route Zero. I think. The dog under my desk is taking up all my foot space. $29.99? And how much this game cost? Yeah, mostly stuff about the building site, I guess. They had a list of all the homes we relocated here. A list of... Oh, yeah, I already read that. They pulled out a list of the folks who didn't take the offer, folks who moved elsewhere, but they filed that back out of order. So I guess they didn't find what they were looking for there. Hey, while I have you here, work's kind of slowed down, and it seems... But it seems like the residents are just kind of settling in. That's the idea. We'll get your boys back to work soon. How much is this game on Steam? Hey, while I have you here, work's kind of slowed down, and it seems like, I know you folks know what you're doing, but it seems like the residents are just kind of settling in. That's the idea. Yeah, I get that. Just how about that roof, huh? Just write us a check and we'll finish it right up. I know you've got this museum thing going on, but you don't want to be slumlords now. I would not recommend you buy this game for $30 to give me any type of income. I know that with subscriptions, I get 50%. At least that's what it was during the sale, when it was like half off, I think. Oh. My guess is it goes through the Twitch app. Or maybe it depends on the game itself, right? Like, I bought Battlefield 1 through Amazon, and it was still on Origin. I just got the code for it. So I think it just depends on the game, or the options the game offers through Amazon. You got gifted 2 subscriptions this month. People wanting to support their streamer. That's pretty cool. I was actually thinking of buying some gift subscriptions for myself, and then giving those out. I mean, it's not like I have a crazy emoticon. Maybe if I set up a better emoticon so that people can use it. But they approved this one that I have now. Hold on, it's too hard to see, but I need to redo it. There. But if they'll let me do that, I think that they'll let me do the previous idea that I had. Okay, let me jump back over here now. What is that Toad from? I can't put my mouse over it right now. Yeah, they came by and knocked on the window, and we had a bit of a talk through the glass. I would have come out, but you know, shady characters. What did you talk about? They were asking about Dr. Truman, and I told them what all I know about that, which is not very much. What do you know about Dr. Truman? I told them he moved in here with the rest of us when you folks brought up the neighborhood, and then one day his house was gone. That's all I know about that. I don't want to talk about that anymore. What? Just gonna decide not to give me any more answers? Huh. Lucid Fox. I don't think I've watched any of his stuff. What does he play? I heard from banging around out there. I just stayed quiet. I don't know what they wanted. I just put my headphones on and tried to ignore them, to tell you the truth. That looks like a time machine right there. Cash grab? What do you mean? Like, they don't... Oh. So my idea is that to, like, if I'm gonna do emotes, there are things that I want you guys, like, not just you guys, but I would want people to be able to use everywhere, and not just, like, I'm not a big fan of, like, rehashing other characters. I feel like that's almost like copyright infringement. I would much rather come up with something fun, like maybe little comic characters, so like when you put them together you can do like little comics, or like the original idea I had was like little fighting not stick figures, maybe a little bit more than a stick figure, but so that you can put them together and have different things going on. I think that ideally that's something that I would like to do. Maybe make like a little adventure scene or something. I think that's ideally what I would want to do. Do you know at first? Emotions? But the problem with that is that there's so many already out there. So that means I would have to come up with different emotions that or somebody's not already doing. So like what would be one that you would want right now that you don't already have access to? Do you know, at first I thought it might be a Hudson walking up to visit. I heard him working on his boat just a bit earlier before the storm started. Then I saw the stranger's limping gait and the young woman with him, and I knew it couldn't be. I invited them in for a glass of bourbon, which they politely declined. So I just talked to them on the porch for a bit. What did you talk about? So not a kobold, but if you wanted to show a crowd of guys, you could mix up the emotes. Oh, right. Well, we talked a bit about the neighborhood. I told them about Hudson and his sailboat, and the nice young couple in the greenhouse, and the charming Dr. Truman who used to live there. They were very interested in him. But of course, well, I don't know where he went. I have some ideas of some, like, weird characters, like, I had this idea for a swordsman. So he's not, like, do you know, he can't really talk because like he shoots swords out of his mouth. I think that's what it was. Excuse me. So he's like just these swords that come out of his mouth all the time. So it makes you think like he's like a knight or some kind of fighter with a sword. So he's like a swordsman, but it's not. It has nothing to do with that. It's because he spits swords out. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean about the emoticon or like the emotion stuff. Because I feel like there's just so much of it. I do like that one. I like that it's pieces, and that was actually the one. Well, that and on Instagram, there's people that'll do. They'll upload an image, and then like the next, like some people have taken it beyond just like the next couple images making one image, but some people have done like from the very beginning, they're like every image is connected. So like so once you go and look at their profile, you got like 50 images and they're all linking together, making like one big image. So I think that kind of inspired my thought on how I would use emoticons. Hello, Lemony. How you doing? They were very interested in him, but of course, well, I don't know where he went. It's alright. The first act I played, I was really tired and I was like trying to stay awake, but I feel like not being so tired today playing through the second act, it's not as I feel much like I feel better about it. Before I thought I was hoping that it wasn't like the game putting me to sleep, and that it was just because I was really tired. Do you know, I don't believe either of them had ever set foot on a houseboat before. I don't know that the older man had ever seen an ocean, in fact. It has always been my fondest dream to retire on a houseboat. That's why I accepted your offer to moved in here. It isn't perfect, but what home ever is. I only wish the house would sway a bit. I find that it settles my nerves. Well, if we have another storm like the last one... Alright, so I think we've looked at almost all of these things. Have you played Kentucky Route Zero, Lemony? I went to that place. More houses. They say it's a museum of people, but it's so weird. I was playing in the empty cabin and they came by. They asked about Dr. Truman. I know where he went, but I didn't tell them. Did you talk about anything else? Where did Dr. Truman go? It's a secret. Ezra told me, and I can't tell anyone else. What else did the stranger say? Who's Ezra? He's my age. He doesn't really live here. He's just passing through with his brother, Julian. First they're going to help us, but I can't say any more about that. We have a lot of secrets. The lady asked me about my parents, and I told them they were upstairs in the greenhouse. Do you want to hear a weird story? Of course I do. The old man asked me about the cabin. He said it looked like another house he knew, and he wanted to know where it came from. I told him nobody lived there, so he went inside. He took a long time exploring. When he came back out, he told me all about it. Where was the other house he knew? What did he find in the cabin? He went upstairs, and he also looked around the other rooms. I played with the dog. What did he do upstairs? He looked at some boxes. He looked out the window. He could see the museum better than when he was downstairs. You could tell how it was all put together in the cabin, too. You could see the shape of it better from up there. Now the part that is weird. He said he went into the basement. That cabin doesn't have a basement. He said he found a staircase in a closet. He said he found a secret door on the floor. He said he dug through the ground to get there. Why would he dig through the ground? That's crazy. He said he found a staircase in a closet. He then he found a rope leading down a long pit and he climbed down. It was so long his arms got very tired and he fell in the dark. The walls were covered in glowing moss. He tried to eat some of the moss. He used the light of the moss to find a lake at the bottom of the pit. The water swept around him until he didn't know where he was, and finally he fell asleep in the water. He was a good swimmer, so he found his way back to the cabin. His leg's messed up. He woke up on the floor of the cabin. He came back outside, and we said goodbye, and I didn't talk to them anymore. That was weird. Very weird. Oh, there's a doghouse over here. And a bird cage. The moment I now recall most clearly from their visit was the birdcage exhibit. The old man stopped to rest or maybe to think. The young woman had been anxious up to that point, but she stopped as well and examined the birdcage more closely. It seemed to elicit a tenderness from her. She ran one fingernail along the bars of the wire cage, marking out a tuneless scale like a child's xylophone. And then they moved on. That was the most interesting thing, and all they did was move on. Let's just open this umbrella because... Yeah, we have to get some real chickens in that coop. Do some homesteading. None of these folks know how to live off the land, you know what I mean? Just a display, another kind of dwelling. Sure, we'll look into that. Yeah, no offense against you guys. I mean, I appreciate what all you've done for us. These are like homes, different types of homes. I think you need to get some real horses in the stable. Did the strangers go in the stable? No, they just poked around a bit. Talked about the barns. They were pretty boring. Doghouse. That dog wasn't nearly as bad shape as the old man, just sort of shrugging along. They found some treats in the doghouse exhibit. They seemed to cheer them up a bit. That seemed to cheer them up a bit. Come on. Oh, there's that symbol over the barn. Doesn't want me to go over there? Guess not. Sorry about that. Come on. I guess that's it. Is that it? Maybe not. Hello? Didn't see this one here. Excuse me. Sure, I talked to them for a bit. Actually, we talked for quite a while. I wasn't busy. I was happy for the company. Can't sleep in a storm like that. I never could. Did you see how they got in? What did you talk about? Why can't you sleep in a storm? They came right in the front door. It wasn't locked. Your security here is kind of shitty. I wasn't going to say, but what did you talk about? I had a bottle in my coat, and I could see the old guy looking at it, and his leg was hurt pretty bad, so I offered him some. He got real awkward about it. I bet he's in a program. Yeah, there's lots of alcohol involved, and they tried to call me drunks before. It was really weird. Anyway, they were asking about Dr. Truman. I remember him. He was here for a bit, and then he left. So that's what I told them. Can I go back here? Oh, looks like we're going up. I guess we should wait for old Homer. I'd like to finish this act out. I have to leave here pretty quickly. Alright, we're going. I was going to leave the dog if he didn't get on. I should have had the umbrella on. Whoa, that big old eagle. We were working in the greenhouse and I saw them come up in the elevator. They were lost, obviously. It was obvious. Oh, of course, I saw them looking at the odd-shaped building. The rounded metal one. Yeah, that one, House of the Future sort of thing. I've always thought it looked more like a grain bin. Actually, I guess it's sort of romantic. Anyway, they seemed interested in it. Tired of huddling under their umbrellas, they still stopped to examine this strange building. Difficult to see or even hear a storm like that, but I was awake and alert, studying the week's forecast. Should even out shortly, I'd say. Did you talk to them? Yes, we had a short conversation. The young woman heard my radio crackling from the cabin and asked about it. The old man was a bit disoriented. What did she want to know about your radio? She thought she recognized the model, just from the noise it was making. I didn't even know the model myself. She told me many old radios from the period had badly designed tuning circuits that caused a kind of resonant feedback in certain spots on the dial. Easy to pick out if you have the ear for it. Smart young woman, and I always love to chat with an artisan. Well, then they had to leave. Looking for a doctor, I think. The old man was having a bad time. It was a short conversation. I'm trying to get to the doctor. Floor was playing down on the lower level, and we'd been having a glass of wine in the greenhouse. We ducked out of the way when he came in. After all, they were complete strangers. We didn't know them. Did they seem dangerous? Did you overhear them talking? Well, I heard the young woman ask her friend about his job. Some kind of furniture collector or dealer. I think it didn't sound like things were going well. Maybe they were looking for a buyer. We're here looking for a buyer. Yes, definitely some kind of furniture collector or dealer. I heard him talking about antiques. I saw you folks drive up. I like your truck. What kind of truck is that? We've got a couple at the shop, but this is the only one that runs. Oh yeah? With a truck you've got to keep it up. That's why me and Julian don't use a truck. We just carry the houses. Just carry the houses? Where do you take the houses? Me and Julian take them out to the forest every night. Then we bring them back at dawn before the museum opens. Why do you take them to the forest? Yes, ma'am. He's out in the forest. Me and Julian took him out there a few nights ago, and he didn't want to come back. He lives there all the time now. This museum is an okay place to live in the daytime, but it's no good at night. Folks just can't sleep in a place like this, and when they do, it gives them nightmares. So we take them out in the forest to sleep, and then bring them back in the morning. Is your family out in the forest? Oh, no, they're... I don't know where they are. Me and Julian were looking for them a while ago, but... Oh, for a while, but... Anyway, we have to have a job to do here now. Taking these people out to the forest at night so they can sleep. And maybe if they the rest of them will be like Dr. Truman and want to stay out there, we'll get back to looking. Can you tell us how to get to the forest? You have to follow the Green River Way out east and then hop over Lake Cumberland. The roads don't go there. But me and Julie can take you. We were just about to go anyway. I've just got to call him over. Yeah. Oh, Julie and the Eagle. Well, that was that. Oof, oof, oof. Did they say it was just over the Green River? So like here? Follow the Green River way out east and then hop over Lake Cumberland. East. Oh, this is Lake Cumberland. What am I looking for? Over Lake Cumberland. Is that a lake? Funny that it's Green River because it's over Lake Cumberland, right? Because the river here that I live near is the Green River. I guess we're going the wrong way. Lake Cumberland. Time is at 3:06. Down in the bottom left, it shows a compass. My guess is this is Lake Cumberland. No, that's a lake. The note say again? You have to follow the Green River way out east and then hop over Lake Cumberland. Back to game. Alright, we got about a few minutes here. I'm going to go way out east and see what happens. Again, I don't like this view, I'll tell you that right now. I wish it would turn me around. Wait a second. Is that another lake down there? Is this a Green River? Nope, that's the Barren River. Green River Lake. Where's this Lake Cumberland at? I gotta go pick up my niece and nephew, so I guess this is gonna have to wait. Can I save from here? Thank you for watching the video. I hope you really enjoyed it, and if you did, please click the circle in the middle to subscribe. The rectangle on your left is another video. The rectangle on your right is a playlist of other videos that you may enjoy. Thanks again. Peace.